Welcome to the Gold Coast Speakers podcast, where speakers have conversations so that you can learn more about the speaker, what they talk about, and who they are. My name is Kate Osborne, and I have the pleasure of talking with Melissa Scott. And last week, I had the absolute pleasure of listening to Melissa live at the Gold Coast Innovation Hub, and the feedback was just wonderful. Melissa, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So let's get started.
Let's do it.
Okay, so you've been in marketing for more than 25 years.
I
So
know.
I'm interested about what the shifts you've seen and why people should choose you as their speaker.
Yeah, look, Kate, 25 plus years, that means that I've been around before the internet, before we had email even. We used to, as a designer, I used to be in the office and we would have to courier things and drive things and post things. So I've seen a massive shift in the way that, probably the biggest shift is that the little guy, like us small business owners, have the best opportunity to promote ourselves through technology, through AI.
What do you think that most people get wrong about personal branding?
Oh, I hate that word wrong, but I like to focus on what people sort of can learn and do better. So really, I think the universal thing with personal branding is if people can try not to do it and get away without doing it, they will try. They'll try their hardest. And we're talking about high-level professional people. But it's critical that you do put yourself at the front of your business. And even if you don't own a business, if you are a sales rep or a manager or something, personal brand really does matter so much, because the engagement with you is 10 times greater if it's a person in front of the brand and not the brand itself, and that's proven. There's a reason why we see Richard Branson at the front of Virgin. It's not an happy accident. It is something that works. People connect with people, and I think that's what people get wrong, if we're going to use that language, is that they still want to try and talk about their products and make it all about their product or their service, which is great, we do care. But I find people already believe that you're probably doing a good job if you're in business, because you would have been run out of business if you're not. So what's the next thing they want to do? They want to connect with you. They want to know more about you. They want to know more about your why, and they want to know why they should choose you. They only know that if they can actually see who you are and get a feel and a taste of who you are. Yeah. Particularly because there's so much with AI, there's a proliferation of content out there. It's really fast and easy to get content out there. It's really easy to put fake people out there, but people can sense when something's real and when it's authentic, and I think that is the missing piece for a lot of businesses if they're not doing well and they want to do better, is that they need to be more about their people.
I love that. And so you're a little bit different than the traditional approach. What would you say to someone looking at hiring you? What's unique about your approach when you deliver to a conference?
I've been doing this a long time, and anyone can stand up and have a beautiful pre-prepared slideshow of what you should do and how you should do it. That's really great. I think my difference is the length of time I've been doing this and the stories that go with it. And I'm not afraid to share those stories. I'm not afraid to laugh at myself and tell the truth. And I really love to connect with the audience, and I'm happy to take a lot of questions from the audience as well. I know a lot of people like to just go on the merry script. I think that is probably the authenticity piece is one of the biggest things, and keeping it real and not being afraid to share and not being afraid to tell the truth about how it really is. And another thing that I do that I know is different to people is that I have experience with NLP and kinesiology, and I do energy clearings and healings. I'm a little bit on the woo-woo side, but I think people really relate to it because I can actually help you shift through something. Particularly if I'm doing a workshop, I can help people shift past what their self-limiting beliefs are, and they can walk away and actually have a real progress, not just like from an analytical point of view, but from how they think and feel about themselves.
Oh, I love that. And so why do you think people want to stay invisible? How can you solve this problem where the fear is stuck in their energy, and we need everyone in an organisation to feel confident about their personal brand because they're representing the product, as you say.
Yeah.
So how do we help people to remove that invisibility? What would be something that you would suggest?
Everyone has a story, don't they, Kate?
Certainly do have stories, yes.
Yeah, and we all like to seize on that story and make it true. And usually it's some kind of self-limiting belief that we have about why it's great for somebody else, but we can't do it. So I
Yes.
think one of the things that I do is really get to the bottom of what is your story? What is it that you're telling yourself that you think is so unique, but it's not unique? I can tell you, everyone's got the same self-limiting belief, which is just really, who would want to hear us? Who would want to listen to our voice? And that's what I really focus on. So ways to do that is I focus with a group, I focus on purpose and why.
Yes.
It's so important that we get this across. And then I really focus on, it's not about you, the individual. It's really about who you're helping. So if I can help people identify who their target audience is, but really go deep down into not first, second, but into third level pain, really understand who their audience is and that they're just all the same. Like take away those barriers and the facade and then just really get to the core matter of what it is that's stopping you from showing up. And I do that. It's really great in a workshop environment to do that. And then if I'm in a big group or like on an audience on a stage, I'll do that just by telling stories and sharing what kept some other people like you and share the story, and people can find that relatable. And then if you find something relatable, just give them a glimmer of hope that it was possible for them, it can be possible for you too.
I love that. Because what's the cost of staying invisible?
Well, it depends. Do you want a business, or do you want to be successful in your career, or do you want to get surpassed by somebody who does have the guts and the courage to speak up and be... This is what a lot of people do, Kate, and I love this, and I'm trying to do this now for my industries. Be the advocate, be the voice of your industry, and share the truth about your industry, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and be the good voice of what is happening, and share that out loud so people come to you.
Yeah, that's good. So if there was one shift that helps people become more confident and more visible that you give them as a takeaway, how would you summarize that?
Self-belief.
Okay, love it. That's really crystallized, because when we think of, AI has changed the game, but humans still want to win. So it almost like an automated bot has absolute conviction, doesn't it? Because it's programmed to do something. But
Yeah.
what does that mean in practice when we find out that they are using AI and it's not their authenticity? What do you think in the marketplace happens there?
You lose trust.
You
So
lose
it's funny.
trust.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yes.
My partner sent me a video the other day. Like, we're going down lots of rabbit holes with conspiracy theories, and he sent me something. He's like, listen to this, it's so important. And 30 seconds into the video, I stopped listening. I said, it's not real. They're mispronouncing words.
Yes.
That instead of saying it was live, they said live. And I was like, and it was totally out of context. I said, oh, it's a bot. It's reading a script. I'm done. I'm out. Gone.
Fantastic. I think that's good, because how can founders leverage AI without losing their authenticity and their voice?
Look, AI is awesome. I use it every day. It makes me faster and more efficient. It's a tool. It's not your savior. It's your tool. It gets you in front of more audiences. It helps you create the content faster. But the nitty-gritty of it all, the emotional content, the stories, the personality, it's still you. You still need to show up on video, on podcast episodes like this, on stage speaking, on video, on YouTube, on masterclasses. You need to be there as a person, telling stories, making mistakes. You need to be real. And that's when people connect, because you are me. We're all each other. And that's when we learn.
I love that. So audience, when you think about your favorite audience to speak to, and why?
I'm going to be the old cliche. I love all of my audiences. Look, I have favorites. Do I have favorites? It's business owners who are really heart-centered and really having a crack.
Okay.
And that makes my voice crack. You can hear
I was
it
going
in
to
the
say
audience.
something with your head and your heart there, really important. And so when it comes to, and I've sat through your session, so I know you bring great energy. I know that you open up for interaction and there's always a takeaway. But what can someone expect from engaging with you from a professional perspective from beginning to end? What's the expectations?
They'll definitely get a real experience. They'll definitely have a laugh. It'll be entertaining. Like, I'm actually in my part-time, my personal life, I'm a singer in a band. So I know all about entertaining. I know all about how to get a crowd going and reading the room and bringing them in. They might get a little ditty or two out of me, but what they'll really get is they'll get emotional connection to what I'm talking about. And I love it when the room goes silent and you can, like, I'm just so real. You can hear it in me when I hit on the truth, like my voice breaks and cracks, and you'll get that in when I'm presenting. And I think when you get a polished speaker, and I love polished speakers, I'm not bagging them out, but I'm just trying to make the difference between them and I.
What you do, yeah.
Yeah, if you really want true connection where your audience walks away and goes, I think I can do that. I think I've actually got the answers to what I've been looking for. I think I understand myself better. I think, yeah.
So what do you love the most in the room in that pinnacle moment of your keynote? What's the thing that you love to see happen?
The silence. When the penny drops. Oof.
Yeah.
It's, it's invigorating. It's exciting. It's like I'm getting tears in my eyes. Like, it's moving. And I know the audience get tears in their eyes. The other day when we spoke together, a lady asked a question from the crowd. I was so lucky I was able to walk out to her. And Tony Robbins does this all the time. He's the master of it. He presents to thousands and thousands of people, and he'll still walk out into the audience, and he does it for good reason, for human connection. And I stood there and I looked at her and she looked at me, and it was like no one else was in the room. And she asked me the question and I answered it for her. And I dug deep and I shared really personally. And she was vulnerable, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful exchange, and everyone got to share in that.
That's fantastic. So what would you say your greatest strength then is as a speaker, as you're coaching people through their personal brand?
Definitely the relatability, and I think I feel them, and therefore I can get that little bit more out of them when we're going deeper, and I can feel if I need to go deeper, and I can feel intuitively what story is going to work the best in this moment. So I'll go off script if it's worth it to get the message across, because I can feel the energy in the room, and I'll make a quick assessment. And you can read everybody's body language. It's no different to singing a song in a pub, and it's just like, like down there on the set list, that's the next song coming, that's not going to work. I'm now going with this one because that's going to work. It's exactly the same on a stage, speaking and presenting, or it's the same coaching, the same facilitating a workshop. You've got to be brave enough to trust yourself to go off script and give the crowd exactly what they need.
That is fantastic. So if you were to think of someone that you've been speaking on stage, you've then commenced working with them, what are some of the amazing results that you have been able to achieve?
My best one, and I'll keep the story short because I go into it much longer if you book me, is an old client. He saw me again speaking at a networking event, and he came up to me and he'd lost 40 kilos based on an experience that I'd had, that he'd experienced from me from a vulnerable share a year earlier, which won't give the game away now. You have to book me to find out what that was. It was a pretty massive impact in my life. And it was something that I shared in a moment when I was told maybe not to by professionals in the industry, but I did because I felt like that's, my whole brand is built on it being vulnerable and authentic, and he'd lost 40 kilos off the back of that. We went on to work with each other, and I taught him how to present and speak on camera, not in a presentory way, but in an authentic way. And his business has grown 100 times into 8 figures over the past 5 years. His growth has been off the charts. His life is so changed. He was destined for it, but he just didn't have the self-belief that he could achieve it. And working together, he was able to. It was pretty amazing. And I actually got a message from him on the weekend, and this is not made up, this is the truth. And thanking me because he was appearing on Sydney Weekender, it's called, which is like a getaway type program in Sydney TV. Promoting him and his business, and said, thank you. I never would have had the confidence, and look, here I am speaking on national TV now, confidently.
I love that. Oh, Melissa, it's just a joy, and it seems like you work with female founders, male founders, you do conferences, keynotes, as well as workshops, and that you can connect with your audience, bring authenticity, and help them see how personal brand is essential in the world of AI. If I've summarised that neatly.
Beautifully. I love to say, don't fear AI. AI is the best thing that's happened as far as making you more efficient and faster, but never ever discredit. Your point of difference now more than ever is your personal brand. And not just you, the people in your company as well. You know,
Yeah.
I've got stories of companies that have been doing this for 15 years that have grown to 9-figure businesses, huge figures, and they just put it's in the caravan and camping industry. They just put their sales rep up in the front of their business in video and connecting with people at expos and talking around and showing and revealing what they do, how they sell, how they use their product that they're selling, and their business has just gone through the roof, and it's now getting pushed into the US market because it's a much bigger market than the Australian market. And it's all done through people.
Good. So if there was one final comment that you wanted to share with someone considering you to be a speaker at their Gold Coast conference, what would you want to be your closing remark?
You really want to provide true value, and you really want people to leave and actually take action and have a real shift in their body, in their psyche, around their self-belief, then I think I really am the person you need to talk to.
Oh, that is just wonderful. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you for your time. I know how valuable your time is. And everybody listening, thank you for joining us today on the Gold Coast Speakers Podcast. If you'd like Melissa to speak at your next event right here on the Gold Coast, head over to goldcoastspeakers.com.au. You'll find all the links and the contact details for Melissa and a whole range of amazing speakers. So thanks so much, everybody. Bye for now.
Thank you.